And we're rolling.
You want me to start talking, yeah?
Okay, let's get into today's episode. As you would have seen in the intro and by the chips in front of me, we have managed to get ourselves an incredible, insane, unheard of collection of semi-custom Paulson chips in essentially mint condition. As you can see, we've got 4 different denominations on the left hand side, which are all 39mm THC chips, which is the most popular Paulson mold, which stands for top, hat and cane. And then on the right, we've got 3 different denominations of IHC chips, which stands for inverted hat and cane. I'll come on to the difference between the two a bit later. Obviously, as you can see, the IHC chips are incredibly sought after because they are 43mm, so slightly bigger than the ones on the left. Yeah, this set, I'll post the numbers and breakdowns on the screen now, were just under 3,000 chips in total. Tough to know where to start with these chips because they are important and significant for so many reasons, but I think the most important part from a poker history point of view, even in my opinion, is the fact that they belong to one of the greatest, most significant poker players in UK poker history, Joe Beevers, who obviously helped found the Hendon Mob, again, which are a collection of probably the most significant and important poker players from the UK as far as, helping the original poker boom was concerned. Sorry, this camera's playing up a bit today. Yeah, these guys were hugely influential in televised poker in the UK back in the late 90s and early noughties with late night poker. And then just, their personality and success helped bring poker to the forefront. So yeah, speaking to Joe, these chips were used at the Hendon Mob's home game back in the late 90s and early noughties. It's just incredible to think that the legends of the game, the UK game that sort of handled and played with these chips. You've got Joe himself, Ram Vaswani, the Boatman brothers, Dave Elliott, the Devilfish, the late great Devilfish. So yeah, from a sort of historical point of view, I think these chips are extremely significant in that sense. The story of how these came about, if you're active on sort of poker, the poker world on Twitter and Facebook, you might have seen these come up over the past couple of weeks. Joe posted a post about these that he was looking to sell them. And then Adam Savage, who is a tournament director, one of the world's sort of most renowned tournament directors, quote retweeted Joe's post about this being one of the sort of best home sets that he's ever seen. And then it just exploded. Everyone was after them. Demand went through the roof across the world for these chips, different people trying to get hold of them. Anyway, I struck up a conversation with Joe, had a bit of back and forth and negotiation, and yeah, I was lucky enough to seal the deal and get these chips. And yeah, I know I said that the roundest chips that I managed to acquire were probably the greatest haul I've ever had and will have, but these are just different level. I don't think I will ever better this, to be honest. So yeah, as far as the origin of these chips are concerned, Paulson, as you all know, used to make chips for the home market, a fantasy line of chips, which are essentially pre-designed, pre-denominated chips. I'll post a few of those on screen now that was available to the public before they pulled their involvement in the home markets. But what we have here is something even more significant, rare and sought after. We have semi-custom chips. So what we mean by that, well, basically Joe had these made in the Paulson shop, which was located in Las Vegas, downtown, I think. He had these made for him in 1999, 2000, I think he said. Just chuckling because, yeah, the story he told me about these is pretty funny, how he just loaded them up in a suitcase once they'd been made, which, as you can imagine, nearly 3,000 chips in the cases. In suitcases would have weighed super heavy, trying to get them back into the UK. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, as you can see from the design in front of you, that is the semi-custom part of these chips, I guess, that Joe Beevers, obviously you can see the beaver design across all the chips. He had that designed, and then he essentially chose from a catalogue of sort of pre-coloured chips that a lot of you will notice from the Paulson fantasy range anyway. And then, yeah, those were made for him. I think he said they were about a six week production time on these. And yeah, they were brought back for his home games, his legendary home games, in the late 90s and early noughties. So yeah, it's tough to know where to start with these. I mean, the second reason they're so significant is just because of the condition. As you can see, I would say like 95 to 98% of the, if not more, of the collection were absolutely mint condition. And the color choices are incredible. Let's start with the £1 chips on the left. So you've got the 4D 1/4 spot pattern on these. Yellow chips in general are just really sought after. I'm not sure if this is focusing at all, but yeah, as you can see, the edges on these are just super mint, super crisp. Love that chip. Second up, we've got the £5 chip, which, yeah, I don't think I've seen this colour and spot pattern on any of the Paulson fantasy ranges. It's actually quite reminiscent of the Paris Las Vegas $5 chip. As you can see, just super crisp, minty edge spots. Then moving on to the £25 chip, which, yeah, speaking to Joe, was the sort of workhorse chip in their games. Yeah, quite an unusual sort of white colorway on this. It's, again, you might have noticed this spot pattern and colorway from the Paulson Pharaoh chips and the Paulson Classic chips. this has actually turned out to be one of my favorite chips from the whole lineup, which is what I didn't expect. But yeah, really love, oh, lost focus. There we go. The £25 chip that he chose. Then moving on to the hundo, the $100. Sorry, focus there. This camera and lighting just doesn't do justice to this chip, especially. It's a super radiant pink color, again with the 4D14 spot pattern. This you would have seen on the Casino de Isthmus. I think I pronounced that right. The CDI 98 chips, which were replicas of the James Bond Paulson chips used for License to Kill. Yeah, this fantasy colorway on 43mm chips is essentially unicorn status. So again, this colorway replicates the $25 chips of the CDI range. Now, as you can see, let's see if I can. You'll see that the top hat and cane on this one is inverted in comparison to the top hat and cane. Let's see if we can just focus that. Nope, does not want to play ball. There we go. You can see it's a completely different shape to the IHC, and obviously you can see the size difference between the two, between 39mm and 43mm. Again, this camera and lighting just does not do this chip justice. 43mm grey chip with the 3T-A16 spot pattern. This is by far the most incredible chip in the lineup. And yeah, I think there were like 150 of these in total, which is just insane. Again, I think Joe said that lots of the 43mm chips hadn't even hit the felt or seen play. And then last but by no means least, we've got the purple 5000 chip. Again with the same spot pattern as the grey one. You might remember the 39mm version of this chip. I'll post it up on screen, that I relabeled for my Jack Casino home set. But again, to see this in 43mm is absolutely insane, unheard of or unseen. At first, one of the things that struck me with this 43mm chip is the size of the inlay. At first, it actually looks like it's a smaller inlay, a much smaller inlay than most 43mm IHCs, but you might be able to see that it's actually a full-size inlay on these, which is really cool. Yeah, so that is the lineup in its entirety. Last but by no means least, these are really, really significant because they are all leaded. The difference between, I'll post the weights of them all in comparison to standard non-leaded chips. The difference within the weight and subsequently the way that the chips feel because of the lead is night and day different. I mean, leaded Paulson chips are, I guess, the holy grail. So to get a set of 3000 is wow. Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on the chips in the comment section below. And yeah, happy to discuss things further. Because yeah, it's hard to do so within the context of a video. So yeah, the comment section is always good for stuff like that. yeah, until next time, thanks again for your support. Take care and stay safe.